This date was April 24th, 1993, the date of the Tulsa F-30 tornado. This tornado touched down at approximately 6:50 Central Daylight Time in the northeast side of Tulsa and basically paralleled Interstate 44 up to the northeast of Tulsa and its suburb of Catoosa. This map is from 4 p.m., about 2 hours before the tornado touched down, showing the abbreviated synoptic scale conditions. At this time we had a surface low in central Oklahoma with a cold front extending northeastward into southeast Kansas and a dry line extending southward into central Texas. Low to mid-60 dew points were advecting northward ahead of the dry line into eastern Oklahoma, with a theta ridge extending from central Texas into north central and northeast Oklahoma. Apparently, to me, from what I saw, thunderstorms developed during the late afternoon hours in Osage County, which is northwest of Tulsa, along the cold front, and they started to back build down the cold front until finally tail end Charley, which appeared to be at the triple point with the western edge of the deep Louisville moisture and the cold front. The storm went up near Keystone Reservoir and moved eastward and across the north side of Tulsa. I began this day down in Norman at my sister's wedding, which was in the early afternoon hours. I left the reception shortly thereafter and decided to go chasing. I went east on Interstate 40 out of Oklahoma City and saw that the best cumulus congestus was to my north, apparently at the dry line intersection with the true cold front. Unfortunately, like I said, the best convective activity was further northeast along the cold front where the deeper Louisville moisture was at. So I went up Interstate 44, the Turner Turnpike to Tulsa, and as I got to Tulsa, that's when I saw the storm for the first time, really, the base of the storm. As I arrived at the toll booth on the southwest side of Tulsa, I had a decision: should I take the north loop around town or the south loop? Well, from my vantage point, the storm was still to the northwest of Tulsa, and local radars from Tulsa TV stations were indicating that the circulation was going to track due east across the north side of Tulsa. Thus, I thought my best opportunity to intercept the storm and see a possible tornado was to take the north loop around town. As soon as I reached downtown Tulsa, the RFD hit. It was quite strong. Shortly thereafter, a minute later, hail started striking my car. It was quite large. Golf balls forced me to pull over off the road somewhere in this area, just to the northeast of downtown. I hid under a Sonic while the golf ball-sized hail was coming down. As soon as that hailstorm ended, I decided I had to go back down south to get back on the south loop to catch back up to the storm again. I didn't get very far when I heard the sirens sounding in town and the tornado warning went off. I went down to the south loop, came back around, and came up behind the tornado. Never saw it. Saw a good rotation off in the distance, but my first indication of the tornado damage track, which this is plotted right here, that's the approximate path. I first met the damage path right here near a truck stop, and when it received all the publicity, a truck stop was hit, severely damaged. That was my first indication of the tornado. Later on, as I made it past the damage path, I went back up due east. I didn't take the turnpike that goes up northeast out of Tulsa. I went due east on Highway 412, the road to Choteau, and along the way I kept getting stopped by large, up to tennis ball, maybe even baseball size hail that kept pounding my car. So I was never really able to get back ahead of the core, and for 2 or 3 times I was playing tag with the hail core, because that's the only decent road that goes east out of Tulsa. I had to take it, and I was forced to play tag with the hail core. Okay, on I-44, Tulsa. Tornado crossed the interstate right here at I-44. Okay, focusing again on manual. Tornado crossed right here. All sorts of traffic backups. The tornado is now east of the Tulsa metro area, roughly paralleling junction 412. Pickup truck down right there. Tornado's getting away from me, but there's nothing I can do. The tornado crossed the interstate. Trees down, damage to a barn. That's a little shed, more likely than a barn. Very heavy rain on the backside of the storm. The rain is very heavy. Oh, another truck flipped, another car flipped over here on the westbound lane. Very heavy rain back here. Tulsa TV station that had the Doppler radar showed a very obvious donut-shaped hook echo. It's right about here. There's the signs down over there. Turning on the air conditioner. I don't want to fog up. Looks like some type of mobile home down over there. The rain is very heavy, coming in sheets. There goes some spotter. Oh, semi down up the road here, blocking the road on the left-hand lane. Oh, what a mess. Let's get over here. Boy, it really tore the shit out of something over here. Till 7:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time for people in southern Rogers and northwestern Wagner counties. Keep tuned to the station for the latest weather bulletin. Significant path. For Nowata County, effective until 7:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Severe thunderstorm was located near blocking the road up here. This is never ending. Looks like a significant tornado came through here. Debris on the road. I got hail. I was just on the north side of downtown Tulsa, on the north loop through Tulsa, and I got pretty large hail. I'd say up to probably at least golf ball, maybe bigger. And I had to pull off the interstate. I didn't want to crack my windshield. And this is what we got left up here. Oh my goodness, hit some buses up here now too. School bus. School bus damage. Cars flipped. Ooh, a bus right in the middle of the road. Boy, this is a real obstacle course. This is a pretty wide path too. Boy, I think I just missed a good tornado. Wow. I guess we're clear the rest of the way up here. Wide and intense path, apparently. I just went over a fence. And I guess these are power lines I just went over. Jeez. More damage. Boy, this is a damn wide path. Okay, the Quick Trip even had some sign damage there. Boy, this has got to be a wide path tornado. Oh, look at that over there. Some type of freestanding building. Oh, big path. Wow. Wow. Wow, what a big path. Oh, big tornado came through here. Who would have guessed it? The day was certainly good enough to have something like this, but my goodness, big path. Big path indeed. Let me see if I can catch up to the storm now. Oh, look at this damage. My windshield is in dire straits. Big hail.
West Central Mays County should be taking cover at this moment. We'll be ready to take cover at any moment. Also, the tornado that we had reported just east of the Tucson area, that storm was reported 4 miles east of
How do I get south? I should have taken that road back there.
Rogers County.
I see some big dents in my car now.
Rogers County line.
This ain't funny.
Taking cover at this moment. That storm is going to be passed just in the direction of Angola. As it feels like that would be just along Highway 32 that we put on the north side of Angola. That's the secondary rotation where you see the pointer. This is the secondary rotation that we're concerned with. This is producing a
Severely out of position.
storm that is reported to have a tornado with it. The secondary storm that I'm pointing out now.
Oh, the hell's getting bigger.
Red, wave.
Jesus.
This is literally tornadic rotation.
There's got to be an exit off of this to go south. Any way possible. Oh man, there's some baseballs in there. I just don't want to lose my windshield. Look at that hail.
This is Tulsa County. This is the extreme northwestern corner of Widener County. Southwestern and south central part of Rogers
On gravel.
Stacked up against each other, 15, 20 deep. Some of those strange things you see when associated with tornadoes. Chain link fence.
Like walking on a gravel street. Got ice, got hail fog around. Thing is plastic / HP really wrapped up. Supposedly got one on the ground near Inola.
Industrial buildings along here heavily damaged, not just roof damage, but their windows. Look through one building, there are architectural metal, you can see all of them.
It was May 5th, 1993. On this date, a mega tornadic supercell developed in the north central Texas panhandle, along and just ahead of a dry line. It moved due north into the Oklahoma panhandle through eastern Texas County and arrived into eastern Stanton County of southwest Kansas around sunset or shortly after dark. Along its path, this storm produced several tornadoes, almost exclusively in good backlighting, and 3 of which were quite large. The last 2 tornadoes were near wedge status, and together they were on the ground a little over an hour, the 2 at the end. I began this chase day up in Dodge City, Kansas. I was preparing to chase western Kansas, but as I woke up and went to the Dodge City National Weather Service, I looked at the weather charts, and the NGM analysis was predicting what appeared to be a mesoscale event just to the immediate west of Liberal. The model put a little surface low in the southeast corner of Colorado and showed strong convergence in the southwest corner of Kansas. So I decided to hang around Dodge City office, saw the storms go up on NextRad display in their clear air mode down in the northern Texas Panhandle. I immediately left the Dodge City office. However, I took the wrong road. I took the road that went west-northwest towards Garden City instead of due southwest towards Liberal. That cost me about 30 minutes. Since I took the wrong road, I decided to place storms that were developing further north in Kansas, southwest Kansas. Those storms did rotate, but they dissipated within an hour or 2. So I quickly gave up on these storms and charged south after what I thought would be better potential down in the Oklahoma Panhandle. I was on the road more than about 15 minutes when I heard the first of a series of tornado warnings for eastern Texas County of the Oklahoma Panhandle. About an hour after I heard the first tornado reports, I arrived in Hooker, Oklahoma, which is just to the southwest of Liberal. And from Hooker, I observed a large tornadic thunderstorm, one of the most impressive looking updrafts I've seen. This storm produced a wedge tornado, the next of a last of series of tornadoes, just to the northwest of Hooker, about an hour before sunset. I was quite startled when I saw this tornado, because it was quite dark when I was driving north, looking off to the northwest. I saw the tornado and attempted to pull over on the side of the road. I thought I was pulling into a gravel turnoff. What I did turn into was soggy bog. My car was stuck, and that was the end of the chase. As it turned out, I missed about another 45 minutes to an hour of large, spectacular tornadoes, well backlit. This is a synoptic scale weather map for about 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, roughly around the time of convective initiation down by Groover. As we can see, low to mid 60 dew points were advecting north and northwestward ahead of the dry line. Meanwhile, off to the west, the winds, which had been quite strong westerly, showing strong convergence in this area of the northern Texas Panhandle. The winds at this point in Amarillo had just started to back in preparation for a strong wave rotating in high amplitude south-southwesterly upper flow. The winds began to back in advance of this next short wave. This caused the dry line to retreat quite rapidly near sunset, shortly before sunset, and the storms began to build west-northwestward ahead of the retreating dry line. This backed the surface winds considerably and helped to feed these strong tornadic storms. To the west, the immediate west of the storm I was on, in the eastern Texas Panhandle, there was another large tornadic storm just to the west of Guymon that also produced a spectacular tornado on the ground. As I've already said, the storm formed roughly in the northern Texas Panhandle near Groover and moved due north east of Guymon up towards Hooker and up into southwest Kansas after dark. My chase route began up in southwest Kansas, getting rid of the storms up there. I dove south and went right through Liberal. From Liberal, I went due southwest to Hooker. Halfway between Tyrone and Hooker is when I first saw the updraft. Quite impressive. Had nice overturning convection. There was a big beer can in the sky. I fumbled around for about 5 minutes trying to find this paved road that goes due north out of Hooker into southwest Kansas for quite some distance. A lot of chasers missed this road and missed seeing the two great tornadoes that lasted an hour shortly before sunset, but I found it. Trouble is, I got north of Hooker about 3 miles and my car got stuck in the mud. Can't see anything on the base yet, but I'm trying to make good time. That could be a lowering, right where that sign's at. There, I don't see any tornado with it. It must have lifted if it was down earlier. Impressive updraft. Rotating flood. Looks like the for May 11th. Can't even remember the event. Full zoom. What a storm.
107 KSCB music from Go.
Okay, developing tornado.
And as we've been reporting, it's very nasty. And right now,
maybe
we
not.
are going to go to.
That's a ragged wall cloud. I thought I saw a needle touching down, but I guess I was mistaken.
From the KSCB Weather Center, a tornado has been spotted between Adams and Hooker in the Oklahoma Panhandle. This tornado is slow moving. It's moving north-northeast and will track into western Seward County and eastern Stevens County if it keeps on its course. Again, a tornado between Adams and Hooker.
I'm heading towards Hooker.
Panhandle. Take shelter. Best shelter in the basement under heavy furniture or where overhead support and protection is the greatest. A tornado warning remains in effect in Texas County until 7:45 tonight. We'll keep you posted. There have been 2 tornadoes spotted, one between Adams and Hooker, the other one was 6 to 8 miles east of Guyman. Stay right here at KSTV for the latest on Skyscan weather. Trey Bender, KSCB News.
Rotating fudge, big updraft.
It's time to get
Strut gold.
Beach Party. Join us for the best beach party of the year at the Buckle and get a cool beach party t-shirt for only $9 with any purchase. Or get the cool tee for free with a shirt for $5.
That's a nice wall cloud up there.
Check out select summer
Just to the left of the road. I'm going to take the time off for a second.
At the Buckle today.
Offer good while supplies last.
Those who would like to better
Oh, what a
understand
storm.
material and vocabulary to prepare for the commercial driver's license.
Big heavy core off to the
workshop Friday,
okay, this is the southwest road. That's looking west-southwest. Big core.
The commercial driver's license training program runs from 6 to 9 on Friday at the SCCC's Adult Learning Center in Kansas.
That's got to be an inch worth of water right down the middle of the road. I'm trying to straddle that the water there. Fortunately, I can still stay on my lane. But my goodness. Well, I'm heading right for that wall cloud. What a storm! Oh my goodness!
Down the weather, I guess you could say.
What an updraft!
Tornado warning is still in effect for eastern Texas County of the Oklahoma.
This one looks right.
7:45 tonight. There is a tornado on the ground reported between Adams and Hooker, Oklahoma. So if you live in that
Don't see
area,
anything on the ground at the moment with it.
And preferably in a basement or a reinforced shelter.
Okay, this trip might pay off after all. I was kind of worried. Let's hear it for Plains Magic.
Major thunderstorms are indicated, one 15 miles west of Guyman, and the other 8 miles east of Guyman, and they're moving in a northerly direction at 35 miles per hour. And large hail has been indicated by the radar, and also
look at that. Overturning convection up there. Oh my goodness. I've got to get out of this rain.
Southwest Kansas, and also there's a tornado watch until 11 p.m. for the Oklahoma and Texas.
Storm's moving north-northeast at about 10. Oh my goodness. Got to get a still of this. An incredible sight just outside of Goodwell, Oklahoma. Look at that updraft. Powerful updraft. Action area is back over there. Okay, this road goes southwest, so that's looking southwest. But, oh my. Okay, got the wide angle on. That helps a little. Okay, strong southeast wind. But look up there. Massive overturning convection. That's where the wind's coming from. Looking southeast. Looking south. Looking southwest. Rotating fudge in the sky. Storm's getting away. I'm going to have to take off. But my goodness, what a beautiful storm. Finally on the inflow side. There could be a tornado back there. It's kind of dark to tell. I'm going to try to get back to the action area. Road that goes north out of Hooker, Oklahoma, on the northwest side of town. Impressive storm.
Keeping you updated on everything that's going on. We're going to go to the KSCB newsroom with Trey Bender.
Just north of
Here's the
Hooker.
latest from the KSCB Weather Center. A tornado warning effective until 8:15 p.m. for folks in western Texas County in the Oklahoma Panhandle. At 7:48, 10 minutes ago, Skywarn spotters and law enforcement were reporting a tornado near Ava in western Texas County. The storm producing this tornado was moving north at 35 miles an hour. Also, tornado warning effective until 8:15 as well in northeastern Texas County. The thunderstorm, which contains this possible tornado, has had a history of producing large tornadoes, and that storm also moving north at 35 miles an hour. This just off the wire. If you live in the path of this storm, take safe shelter now. Large hail and damaging winds are likely with this storm.
It's moving north
Storm
pretty
moving north
rapidly,
at 20 miles an hour.
Yeah,
should
20
move
or
into
30.
open country 10 miles southeast of Huguenon by 8:15
Whoa, good CG.
p.m.
My
Again,
goodness,
take shelter.
that was
The
close.
tornado watch is in effect for this warned area. Remember, severe thunderstorms can and occasionally do produce tornadoes.
that came out of the
with
anvil.
little or no advanced
Wow.
warning. Again,
Some
the
little
storm
groundhog
moving to
out there
north
got
at 20
fried.
miles per hour and should move into open country 10 miles southeast of
It's so
Huguenon.
dark back
We'll
there, I
keep you
can't
posted
see
with the latest. Trey
the
Bender,
wall cloud. I'm
KSCB
sure it's to
News.
my northwest. This road is due north. Kill the radio. It's a little too loud. Okay, but I'm still heading north. Okay, there's some blinkers up there. I'm starting to see more chasers around. See, I didn't see any at Dodge City today, but of course they all show up when you least expect it. Not that I didn't expect a day like this to get chasers. Well, I'm somewhat happily surprised. I thought the shear was a little too unidirectional. We had real good instability. LIs like -10 at 500, -14 at 300, but it's a closed upper low system. But that'll teach you never to underestimate a closed low. The storm is also almost equivalent barotropic. But the NGM picked out a mesoscale low just about southeast corner, extreme southeast corner of Baca County, Colorado. And it had a tongue of -7 LIs right near Elkhart or Liberal, I can't remember which. So the NGM was predicting a mesoscale feature, and by God, we got a hell of a one here. You would think this storm to the east would take over and kind of kill the one to the west. That's what I would expect to happen. I mean, the inflows from the southeast, this storm of mine's got to be cutting the other one off unless they're not doing the right. Oh, tornado. Okay, tornado. Right there, off to my northwest. It's so dark I couldn't get a good picture. I gotta find a place. Who is that? I couldn't tell. Oh, giant wedge tornado. Oh my God, that's a giant tornado. Oh my goodness. The video picks it out better than my eye. I don't believe it. Oh my God, that's at least a quarter, maybe that's 3/4, half mile wide, somewhere in there. Giant tornado. Big one. I gotta pull over and get this. My God, what a tornado. I wish I had better oh my goodness. It was so dark I never saw it until I peeked over there. My God. I've gotta pull over. Oh, where? There's no place. No place to pull over. God dang it. Okay, right here. Anywhere. Right. Well, better enjoy this. Oklahoma tornado, I spent the night in Garden City, Kansas in preparation for a chase day, the second of what turned out to be 5 big tornado days in a row in the Great Plains. After awaking from Garden City, I drove to Dodge City office, observed some of their NGM analysis charts and also some of the initial analysis charts, and decided that eastern Kansas, possibly northeast Oklahoma, appeared to be my chase target for the day. I drove east from Dodge City to Wichita, Kansas, and after watching their WSR 88D NEXRAD in clear air mode, saw a convergence zone that extended from north central Oklahoma just to the east of Wichita into north central Kansas. This appeared to be a convergence zone in the warm sector. What you see before you now is the NGM initial analysis from 7 p.m. May 6, 1993. I don't have a good surface chart from this day, so this will have to do. The NGM initialized a surface low north of North Platte, Nebraska, with a warm front extending southeastward into eastern Kansas near Topeka and on down to southern Missouri. A dryline bulge was evident, extending from near Hastings and Grand Island down through central Kansas. As you can plainly see, the winds are strong and well backed along the warm front and also in the warm sector. And this is where an outbreak of tornadoes occurred, mostly in northeast Kansas. Some made it across the Missouri River into Missouri. This is the 500 millibar chart from the NGM initial analysis from 0Z, the time of the event. As you can plainly see, there's a strong negative tilt, mean upper trough that extends from southern Alaska to the Pacific Northwest and the central Great Plains. This is a very strong negative tilt to shortwave, and northeast Kansas is right in this area. That's where the big tornado outbreak happened, on the southeast side, southeast quadrant of the main vorticity area. I left Wichita with a friend of mine, Michael Phelps, shortly before rush hour, say 4:30 on this afternoon, and went due east out of Wichita, hoping to catch something coming up from southeast of Wichita along the convergence zone. This took a long time in coming, and all the while we knew there was a severe thunderstorm up along the Kansas Turnpike down by northeast of El Dorado, moving rapidly northeast. We made it as far east as Wilson County, Kansas. Was just off the map down here, and said enough is enough. We started to see inflow bands heading north and northwest into the developing storms northeast Kansas. So at that point we went north towards Burlington. Roughly around Burlington is when I started to see tail end Charlie supercell just to my northeast. As we start the video, you will see this tornadic storm off to my northeast. From this point, I made it to the interstate, which is Interstate 35, and went east a short distance to near Melbourne. Just south of Melbourne, I saw a brief tornado touchdown. It was a needle funnel, but it was about halfway to 3/4 of the way down to the ground, so that is how I know it was on the ground. This storm was moving rapidly northeast towards Lawrence, so I followed the storm up 35 to Ottawa, then north from Ottawa into Lawrence. This storm produced a rotating wall cloud which went right over downtown Lawrence, maybe 30 to 45 minutes before sunset as it continued off. Nobody seemed overly concerned in Lawrence at the time, but there was a rotating wall cloud over Lawrence. From this point, the storm moved into a rugged area full of trees and hills between Lawrence and Kansas City. Not a good chase place to be. I lost the storm as I got lost on some roads up here between Lawrence and Kansas City. By that time it was sunset. There were numerous tornadoes in northeast Kansas on this day. Approaching Interstate 35. Action area is over here. Seen RFD. Okay, timeout. It's still east-northeast on Interstate 35 in Kansas, mile marker 160. Main action area is back over here. White man, 5 feet tall, brown hair and blue eyes, weighed about 220 pounds. He and Aaron reported missing from the Threshold facility west after the 6th of November. It's looking north-northeast. Also a white male, 5 to 10 over here is northeast. People saw it. Tornado touchdown right over there. Looking northeast. Tornado touchdown. Time is correct. Got a good one. Police now say Catherine Adams was alive a week ago today. Find an overpass so I can get a picture, good picture of this tornado. Authorities believe she may have been killed. Yeah, those people saw it a little bit before I did. It just touched down right now. It doesn't look like it's going to hold together though. Police want to know if anyone saw someone walking early Thursday morning between Magnolia. No time for even to get a good picture of it. I'm going to see if I can pull over. 7210. As soon as I get a picture of it. Northern Central Brown County tornado warning. This is what I'm after. 31. That's the exit right here. Gonna take 31. Oh, that's a big tornado. Well, nah, okay. Moderate sized tornado, maybe 100 yards wide. I thought that was bigger than it was. Okay, gonna get on the overpass. Overpass. Get a view of it.
Okay. Central and northern Brown County should find shelter immediately. You have a little time to take it and find shelter. Again, that warning is in effect until 7:30.
Taking the turn.
Warning for Shawnee County canceled quite a while ago.
There it is. Right there.
Until 7:15.
Thank you, Dave. We're going to say goodnight now, but we'll tell you that our meteorologists staff the evening, as well as our news crews, our news staff, and we'll have a full report for you tonight at 10.
It's reorganizing now.
Yeah, I had the tornado a few minutes ago, but again. Good view again.
From the lessons of our wartime 20th century, we can help shape a more peaceful future. Travel is real. It makes you free that I'm one of 5 billion equally precious people showing an ever smaller path.
Continuing north. Finally got a really good view. I could do it at any minute. I think I'm in Douglas County now. Douglas County. Very large wall cloud. This is approaching the not too far south west or south of Lawrence. Time off whilst I take some stills. Oh. Looks like it's trying to form a funnel. The thing appears to be occluding. Now would be the time. Well, look at these hills up here. Who says Kansas doesn't have hills, huh? I am continuing on. Oh, CG right out of the wall cloud, yes. Right out of the wall cloud. Good CG.
The sirens are on again in Topeka for this activity.
Sirens are on in Topeka, but I'm in Lawrence, I think.
3 or 4 minutes. The train spotters were actually a couple of them were seeing the rotation.
Oh, look at that rotation! My goodness!
The thunderstorm base is beginning to lower, and there were indications that there was circulation with that thunderstorm. And
it's going right across the road to my north.
Are on for Topeka, and
I'm not in Topeka, I'm in Lawrence. Can you believe there's none on the back of my southwest?
As the activity over
okay, I gotta switch lanes. I hate city chasing.
Storm spotters, as I was mentioning, indicated the lowering of the cloud base in the area of Forbes Field. Actually,
area of Forbes Field, there's a lowering in Topeka. Okay, CG to my west-northwest. There is another cell back there.
Some rotation and lowering.
Okay, that's a massive, ill-defined rotation. Junction 10, time 7:53, mileage 8:19 even. Again in Norman, Oklahoma. I drove west on Interstate 40 and arrived at the National Weather Service office in Amarillo during the early afternoon. There I met up with Dave Gold and Bill Gargan, with whom I would chase the next 3 to 4 days with. We quickly analyzed the situation. At 500 millibars, this chart is from 12Z Saturday, June 5th, 1993, a flat ridge was centered over the eastern plains, with a closed low off the coast of northern California. Broad southwest flow was found over the desert southwest and into west central Texas. 500 millibar winds over West Texas were already greater than 30 knots and were expected to increase to over 40 knots by evening. At 700 millibars, 700 millibar chart indicated similar features. Temperatures at this level range from 11 degrees centigrade at both Amarillo and El Paso to 13 degrees centigrade at Midland. These temperatures were forecasted to remain unchanged by evening. Also, sounding analysis indicated a moderately strong but breakable cap. .7 a.m. surface analysis indicated a slow-moving cold front
extended from central and southwest Texas into the lee of the New Mexico Rocky Mountains. The moist ridge extended from South Texas into southeast New Mexico. In addition, visible satellite pictures revealed clear skies near and to the southwest of this area would allow strong heating to take place. During the early afternoon, the front began moving north as a warm front. The ADAP Surface Objective Analysis Program at Amarillo indicated a strong moisture advection and moisture convergence bullseye was occurring in east-central New Mexico to the south of Clovis. This was acting to weaken the cap in this area. In addition, southeast surface winds were creating a favorable vertical wind shear profile. Dave and I predicted supercell storms would develop south of Clovis by late afternoon or evening. Joining up with two more friends of Dave Gold, we left the Amarillo National Weather Service as a 3-vehicle convoy and drove southwest on US 60 to Clovis. While gassing up our vehicles, we observed cumulus congestus to our distant south. We drove south through Portales and all the way to just south of Crossroads, New Mexico. From here, we observed a disorganized LP storm which produced light rain and pea-sized hail at our location. After this storm dissipated, we drove north to near Pep, New Mexico. And from here, we observed a new multi-cell CB to our distant southeast. We drove east to intercept this storm, and as we crossed the border into Texas near Goodland, the storm had evolved into a very picturesque LP supercell at sunset. We drove 7 miles south of Goodland on a dirt road and parked just east of the storm. The storm produced golf ball hail at our location, but I was unable to obtain video since it was now dark and the storm produced very little lightning. One interesting aspect of this storm was a continuous low roaring noise to our northeast, apparently coming from the upper levels of the storm, near or just northeast of the updraft-downdraft interface. I have heard observations of this phenomenon from other chasers, and the best theory I've heard is that this was a hail roar being produced by the collision of thousands of hailstones in the upper level camcorder, but I was unsuccessful. Side of the border now, east of Cali, I believe, New Mexico. We now have a real storm painted from the gods. Looking east-southeast, now looking due right up. It's like a painting. The winds are almost due east at probably 30 to 35. Southwest.
Robbie, there's a sear funnel right there.
Oh yeah, little funnel. Little oh, look at that. Oh, the colors, the colors.
Wow.
The colors.
Wow.
Looking east-northeast and straight up almost. 60-degree angle.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Oh, the colors.
It's only a tornado. It'll be alright, dog. It won't hit here. Yeah, well, I think maybe the lower pressure.
He's probably been through tornadoes.
Yeah, he's probably nervous and everything, you know.
The dog is nervous and whiny, and I don't think it's just because we're here.
Hope not. We just want to whine on my leg. Wow, nice leg.
Okay, back.
It's got to be rotating. What?
That's the lowest phase.
It's waiting on every tire of your car.
Hey,
knock it up, man. What he's doing is he's making...
hello, boy.
He's tipping out of your car.
Not my car. Yeah, I know. We are his.
It's still got a wall.
No, that's a super. Goodland, Texas LP supercell, we went up to Amarillo and spent the night. We awoke the next morning and went to the Amarillo National Weather Service, and from there determined from their weather charts that the best place for us to chase this day we thought would be in northwest Kansas. So we promptly left the Amarillo National Weather Service around 10:30 or so and arrived at the Goodland office mid to late afternoon. There we reanalyzed the situation using current maps. This is a 0 Zulu, or 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time weather chart, 500 millibar chart from June 6th, 1993. On this day we can see a relatively high amplitude trough in the American West with a ridge of high pressure extending across the eastern plains. Broad southwest flow is evident across much of the Rockies and the Great Plains. A greater than 80 knot jet max was situated at the base of the trough down in Old Mexico, and a strong shortwave was evident down here. This would not affect today's chase, however. That was in preparation for tomorrow up in South Dakota. Today we decided to play portions of southwest Nebraska. The surface low at this point, as we'll see in a moment on a weather chart at the surface, was situated near the Colorado-Nebraska-Kansas border with a well-defined warm front extending across the Kansas-Nebraska border. We decided to play the broad southwest flow at 500. At 700 millibars, we saw similar features: a trough in the west, a ridge in the eastern plains with broad southwest flow of 30 knots, possibly even 40 knots in many locations in our chase target area. 40 knot jet max at 700 millibars is evident through this region. The most striking thing to be found probably from this chart at 700 millibars is the very warm temperatures at 700, plus 15 degrees centigrade at both Amarillo and Midland, with plus 12 all the way up to North Platte, Nebraska. This is implying a strong cap along the dry line, but strong warm air advection along the warm front. At 850 millibars, the warm front becomes apparent with strong southerly flow with 30 to 40 knots across the southern and central plains, becoming east to east-southeasterly at around 20 knots to 25 knots north of the warm front. Abundant moisture was found through a deep layer extending from Norman up towards Topeka, Kansas. The western edge of this deeper moisture was found across western Kansas and also western Nebraska, eastern Colorado region. At 850 we also see that the dry line is quite capped, but there is strong low-level warm air advection lifting along the warm front up on the Kansas-Nebraska border. At the surface, the warm front is well defined indeed across far southern Nebraska. Behind or ahead of the warm front, temperatures are in the 50s and 60s. Even a 49-degree reading off the map here up in towards Rapid City. Meanwhile, south of the warm front, temperatures were all in the 80s. The wind behind the warm front was easterly to even northeasterly, while it was south to southeasterly behind the warm front. Surface low pressure was centered in northeast Colorado, and a dry line extended southeastward into the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Low to mid 70 dew points were pooling along and just behind the warm front. This is providing for very hazy conditions, as we see on my video shortly. When we chased our storm up in southwest Nebraska, visibility at some points was down to 5 miles in haze, which was not good for our viewing pleasure. Anyway, we left the Goodland office, and we saw some towering cumulus congestus type clouds off to our northwest near the surface low. We followed these for a couple hours all the way towards McCook and even northeast of McCook before they finally popped about an hour before sunset, not too far from McCook. The best activity of the day, however, and most of it happened after dark, was out around Kearney, Nebraska, south central Nebraska. There, a long-lived, slow-moving supercell produced a great multitude of severe weather, including several large tornadoes which were filmed by other friends of mine. We left the Goodland office, which is off the map down here, and went north-northwest into the extreme southwest corner of Nebraska. We followed the Cumulus congestus further east up this highway right here that goes through Hitchcock County towards McCook. It took a couple of 3 hours for the cumulus congestus clouds to finally begin to develop into towering cumulus and eventually as a supercell CB. It did not happen until it reached north and northeast of McCook, roughly in this area. In order to chase the activity, we had to go east out of McCook to a small town, I believe called Indianola, and we had to go north on what became a very bad dirt road all the way to Stockerville, or Stockville. Along the way, it became a very picturesque supercell. It was moving rapidly north at probably 25 to 30 miles an hour, pretty tough to keep up with on a dirt road. But once we did get off the dirt road, we set up some camcorders and took some very picturesque storm structure photos at sunset. Dave Gold and his friend Bill decided to try to see a tornado, but we thought the haze was just too severe, and we decided to concentrate on storm structure. It was nearing sunset anyway. Okay, heading north out of Goodland, Kansas. The Weather Service office is back over that way. They were very kind and helpful to us. Appreciate their help. Their 88D is up and running. Anyway, here's the situation. Have extreme instability. The ADAP program out of Goodland was showing minus 20 LIs at 300 millibars across north central Kansas. That's, of course, overdone, but needless to say, the instability is extreme. The dew point here in Goodland was 60 degrees at last count. It's in the 70s, just to the west, or to the southeast of us here, and to the east. The thing that's got us going out the door is a line of cumulus congestus off to the northwest that appears to be located near the dry line warm front intersection in the extreme northeast Colorado. There could be a secondary dry line demarcating the deeper moisture to the east of this. That's roughly runs from Goodland southward. That could be the deeper moisture. Don't know that for sure, but that's what 88D was kind of implying. The dew points, like I said, are quite incredible. Let's see if I can drive here first of all. Moisture convergence bullseye has been centered in northwest Kansas for much of the afternoon, and currently is located in the extreme northwest corner of Kansas. And I think it's trying to find that cumulus congestus area over there to the northwest. With me today is Dave Gold and his friend up in the car. Behind me, which you can't see in a white van, is a man from IMAX. Supposedly Dave is being paid $150 a day for the next 10 days, I think it is, to chase with IMAX to get good storm pictures. Nebraska, somewhere west of McCook, and we got rising motion towers going on the western edge of the deep moisture. Everything is converging right here. I think we have the developing early stages of a severe thunderstorm that could become a supercell. We see incredible shear overhead.
It's a big area right here. It's all going
It's just unfortunate it had to wait so long to do it.
That's where air's rising. Yeah, that's right. It's all rising.
Let's look over
right
here
up.
where we can see something here.
And the thing to our east is absolutely going bananas. Absolutely going bananas. Look at it rotate. Look at the corkscrew as it goes up.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Wow. Incredible.
I've never, yeah, see the corkscrew of the updraft?
Boom. Right up there.
Right up.
Look at the intense rotation of that tower. That's within 15 minutes of being possibly dramatic. The thing going northeast is becoming a severe thunderstorm.
This is just developing.
This entire area is developing.
Get a piece of this.
Right. Well, I want to make sure that actually does it. Let's tell you what we got to do. We got to get in better position for these storms. We're in a bad place here.
It's moving rapidly north.
Yes, it is.
Let's go.
I think we have to.
Okay, heading eastbound, approaching McCook, Nebraska.
Got towers going northwest through east-northeast of us. They mostly all have striated circular bases. The shear is very good. They seem somewhat starved though and kind of mushy at the moment. One of them will go, just how soon and when. Hopefully he'll do it before dark. We've got about an hour and a half of good daylight left. The sun will set probably around 9 and 30 minutes of twilight that's worth gleaming. But you see if I can pan over here, take the time off, and pan over to the north. Uh-oh, we're heading into McCook. See how much I can get into this.
Gotta keep going east.
And then back off to the northwest. A nice east-west line of towers. Okay, still heading north on a really bad dirt road. At least it's not raining yet. Heading towards Stockton. Have an incredible supercell off to the west. Every time I get one of these really great storms, something goes wrong. Oh well, here's looking west at a gift from God. We probably got near 70 dew point right here. I took a measurement of 83 temperature, 57 degree relative humidity. That should be upper 60s, I think, maybe near 70. It's hard to drive and shoot video. Okay, parked not too far from Stockerville, Nebraska, looking northwest of the magnificent, a big storm. Magnificent supercell. Look at that real-time stratus inflow. Unfortunately, it's right near sunset. And the haze is atrocious. I know, gotta hurry. Is there anything I can do to help you?
The orange battery and cable.
Oh man, come on, stupid Stratus, don't cover our view. Ah. Unbelievable. Great view all the time, but now as soon as we set up, it does this. The Stockville, Nebraska supercell, we drove to Grand Island and spent the night at the Super 8 Motel. The next morning, we awoke. Dave and Bill had already analyzed some surface charts while I slept in. We decided to head north from Grand Island up to Norfolk. Once we arrived in Norfolk, conditions seemed favorable further north, so we went all the way up into southeast South Dakota. This is the 500 millibar chart, valid 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, June 7, 1993, indicating the tornado outbreak which occurred across eastern South Dakota, western Minnesota, and northwest Iowa. As can be seen, a strong negative tilt shortwave trough was coming through the central and northern plains with very strong 500 millibar wind speeds and strong vertical shear throughout a deep layer. This is the 250 millibar chart up at jet stream level. The main feature evident with this is the strong jet max coming out 100 knots at 250 millibars up in north central Kansas, with the jet axis extending right across the tornado threat area. Wind speeds up in southeast South Dakota near Coleman, where we later observed a very large violent tornado near Coleman. The wind speed at 250 millibars, according to the NGM initial analysis from 0Z this night, was around 80 knots, highly diffluent further north. Yesterday the cap was a problem, but on this day, this is a 700 millibar chart, strong cold mid-level air advection moved into the area and helped break the cap to form a northwest to southeast oriented squall line. This squall line was capped down in northwest Iowa, but as can be seen from this chart at 700 millibars, the wind fields were quite strong at 700 millibars from the south to south-southwest at around 40 knots in our target area. And at 850 millibars, using the NGM initial analysis, very strong low-level warm air advection can be seen over our target area, implying strong upward motion. Wind speeds were running from the south to southwest at 30 to 35 knots across our threat area. The following is ADAP objective analysis fields at the surface from Des Moines, Iowa National Weather Service. The time is 21Z, or 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, about a little over around 1 hour away from tornado time in my video. Up here in the upper left-hand corner we have lifted index at 500 millibars showing extreme instability along an axis extending from Omaha, Council Bluffs up into southeast and central South Dakota. LI is running -11 to -8 in this area. Over here in the upper right-hand corner we have lifted index at 300 millibars, still showing the same axis of extreme instability. -15 down in Omaha, up to about -12, not too far from Mitchell, South Dakota. Down here in the lower left-hand we have cap strength, showing 0 degree cap strength for much of South Dakota, tapering off to about a 2 degree cap in southwest Iowa. So this does indicate that the cap further down along the convergence zone, the warm front, the surface boundary, whatever you want to call it, the cap strength is increasing, so there should be a tail-end Charlie storm somewhere in this region, which there was. And the tail end of the Charlie storm was in northwest Iowa. And finally, over here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have surface moisture convergence, also at 21Z, 4 p.m., showing that axis of strong moisture convergence. Also from 21Z, or 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, we have total altimeter change from 19Z to 21Z, showing strong pressure falls up in east central South Dakota with moderate rises in south central Nebraska. Over here in the upper right-hand corner, we have total moisture flux convergence change, 19Z to 21Z, showing a sustained moisture flux convergence bullseye down here near Sioux Falls. That was not too far away from the storm that we were on, and I think that's probably directly associated with one of those storms. And finally down here we have average theta advection, also from 19Z to 21Z, showing strong theta advection sustained right along the boundary that we were on. And finally we see the 22 Zulu, or 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time surface chart. This is right about the time a violent 1 to 1.5 mile wide tornado was tracking
to the northwest through north of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, roughly in this area. The surface observation from Sioux Falls was actually a special observation, taking it 22:06 Zulu. I actually had to pen in the previous top of the hour obs, which was 74, temperature 71 dew point. Their winds before at 2150 were actually from the southeast, 140 degrees at 18, gusting 25 knots. CB's all quads moving northeast, pressure falling rapidly, peak wind 120 degrees at 36 knots at 31 after the hour. So as you can see, even up here the winds are strongly backed and quite strong, suggesting that this warm front, storms forming along and just to the north of it, had extreme helicity with them, and thus there were some violent tornadoes up here. The moist axis is quite evident right up towards the area. Needless to say, southeast South Dakota has a lot going for it. And now for the actual chase itself. Like I said earlier, after analyzing the situation down off the map here in northeast Nebraska at the Norfolk office, Dave suggested we head up towards Sioux City, which is over here, but I thought we should play further north because we already had a line of storms developing roughly in an orientation from, outside of Pierre back down towards Mitchell. I figured our best chance for storms would be up in this area. So we went north, stopped at Yankton, got gas, went further north, cut back east to the interstate. By this time, we saw and heard reports of a tornadic storm off to the west of Sioux Falls. We thought we could intercept this storm between Brookings and Sioux Falls, so we went north on the interstate, and as we got to Sioux Falls, we started hearing reports of damage from this tornado to the west of Sioux Falls. As we made it just north of Sioux Falls, we actually heard a report of a, quote, large tornado over the radio. As soon as we made it roughly to about the Moody, Minnehaha County border, that's when we saw a first glimpse of this quite large tornado. It appeared to be wider than it was tall, suggesting to me that it was 1 mile to 1.5 miles wide at the point we first saw the tornado. I quickly fumbled it around and turned on my camcorder as soon as we parked the car south of Coleman by about 5 miles. There, we got the first glimpse of the tornado on video. However, I made the mistake of having an old battery on my camcorder, so I lost the first 30 seconds of our stopping right there at the intersection. But I put a new camcorder battery in, and after some urging from my comrades there, we decided to head back north on the interstate. The tornado was moving rapidly north-northeast at 50 to 60 miles an hour and was nearly impossible to keep up with. But for about 13 minutes, we got a big thrill as we saw a quite large tornado. As we approached Coleman, which is right in this area up here, we parked again just northeast of Coleman on the interstate, and by that time the tornado had rapidly roped out and a new wall cloud was going up to our north. However, the storm was moving so rapidly we did not think we could intercept it, so we broke off chase and headed further east, going after the new developing storms along the squall line. I do not carry the video any further in this segment because it was mainly rain cores that we got through. We never could break through to the east side to see new updrafts. Video starts. The first scene you'll be looking will be near the Minnehaha, Moody County border, east of Chester, just off the interstate, and the final sequence will be just to the northeast of Coleman. South Dakota, incredible winds, gigantic wedge. Zooming in, our inflow winds are sustained 50 knots.
We should get on the interstate.
Wow. It's a mile. Okay, I had to switch my battery. It is hauling ass north at 40.
Come on, let's go north.
Hold on, get good pictures. It's raining now. We're in rain. Look at this motion. Look over here. My God. The winds are incredible.
Do you want me to drive? Hey, Bob.
Okay, you shoot the video. Just shoot
Okay.
it. Just aim and shoot. Point and shoot.
Is that red button?
Yes. The red light is on.
It's recording. Okay.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
A mile east of Canton, you go to
Okay. It is hauling butt. We're never going to catch it.
Let's go north. If we go north, we have the interstate.
Nah.
Come on.
What should we do? Over.
North!
Okay, north.
North!
TV good. Look out.
Person coming up on the road.
Hold on.
Move it!
Let's go.
You're shooting camcorder video, I hope.
Yeah, I am.
Got a cop right there. Be careful now. He's looking at us. Don't do anything to get us arrested. Okay, buckle up, buckle up. Buckle up.
I am.
Just go for it. No, you keep shooting. Keep shooting. Take the... Okay. Keep shooting. Roll up your window. Roll up the window. Roll up the window, Bill. Roll your window up. Just roll it up. All the way up.
Once we get on the expressway, I'll be able to get
Oh, fuck.
wedge on the ground.
Yeah, keep trying your best to shoot it.
I'm trying my best, but I'm in a bad
It is hauling ass. This is incredible. That's the largest tornado I've ever seen. Oh my goodness, we almost bought the farm.
behind me. Blast north, hurry.
We're going.
That's north.
Oh my goodness, that was a wedge and a half.
Here we go around the turn.
That was the largest. That is a violent. That is the largest, most violent tornado I've ever seen. This is the year of not many tornadoes, but the ones that do happen are wedges. Oh my goodness. It's raining. What? It's hauling butt.
Yes, we're behind you. Over.
The zoom is right there on your side. If you don't have any contrast, zoom out. Okay?
I don't.
Okay, zoom back. All the way back.
Okay, there.
Just 1x.
Okay.
1x. That tornado is hauling at 50. It's hauling at 60. There's no way we can keep... We're on the interstate.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, zoom back. All the way back.
Okay, there.
Just 1x.
Okay.
West, just to get the whole picture, okay? You are zoomed all the way back.
Yes, I'm all the way back.
Okay. That was a monster. It still is a monster. That is a gigantic tornado. Oh, that makes Chandler look small.
Yes, it did.
I know it's warm frontal and it's probably condensing out more than it should normally, but I don't care. That's still a giant, violent, probably F4 or 5. It's a violent tornado.
At least.
You don't get inflow winds of 60 to 70 without getting a wedge.
That was a very large tornado. And it still
Oh
is.
my God.
It's still on the ground.
Okay, I've got to turn the fan on.
My God, multiple vortex over.
It's hauling butt at 60.
We're gonna keep up with this for good.
It's going to occlude.
Oh, it's not shrinking at all, Bobby.
Look the right. Look the RFD. It's wrapped around. It's in its final occlusion stage. There's going to be another one up the butt here in a second.
Still not good, Bobby. We're after it. Over.
Well, no kidding. I'm just saying it's occluding right now. That one's going to last. We might have two on the ground at the same time. We've got backlighting now too.
We're gonna keep going north. Over.
Okay. Bill's shooting video. You still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I turned the thing off accidentally.
We're gonna just keep going north after it. Over.
Okay.
Over.
Oh, great.
Oh my God, I gotta get a picture of that.
Goodness.
Got it. I hope that turns out. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
You're
God.
getting this.
Yes,
I pray to God you're getting this.
I
Zoom in
everything.
occasionally.
I do.
Can you zoom in?
I do, yes.
Okay, you're doing a good job then, I hope. Oh my goodness.
Great.
The blinkers go on now. Let's see if I can get that again.
Oh my God.
It's shrinking.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Over.
It's shrinking. Oh, should we tell one? I can't.
Oh, what
I'm
a barrel.
I hope I'm not blurring up the pictures here. 2/50th of a second. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's shrinking. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of shearing out a bit, but
Well, it's
Moving a little to the east as opposed to due north. Over.
good.
good.
Oh my God. You getting that, right?
Yes. Oh, wow.
Okay, watch the road up here, Mommy.
Oh, good. Roping out.
Yeah, it's roping out. Okay. That is the most startled I've been in a while.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
goodness.
look at, there's another, no, there could be another wall cloud.
Got to zoom back and try to get that whole structure
I did.
for the whole, yeah. There it goes.
Okay, this did rope out. There could be another wall cloud to the north.
Yeah. Agreed.
How can I?
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Look for new development all along the flank. Overhead. Over.
Yeah. Agreed.
A much more substantial wall cloud's developing just to our southwest. Tell them that.
New wall cloud southwest, Bill says. Oh my goodness.
Due over.
Big outbreak going on, I'm sure.
Look at the radar over.
No, we don't need to. Pull over. Pull over. Stop. Pull over. Pull over. Let's get this. This is too good to pass up. Pull over.
Debris.
Debris. I'm going to go to your north. Hold on. Be real careful here, boys. Real careful. Blinkers on.
Tell them to take a look. Here, you take
Yeah.
it.
No, you keep shooting. I got to stick some stills. I think you're doing okay, Joe.
Tornadic storm just to the north of Grand Island, Nebraska. In fact, I was parked about 3 miles to the northeast of the Grand Island Airport when I observed a tornado touchdown about 2 miles to my northwest. This map is from 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. That'd be 20Z from 12 June 1993. On this day, the previous night, convection fired across Nebraska. It left an outflow boundary which at 3 p.m. extended across roughly the Kansas-Nebraska border, feeding up in northeast Colorado towards Sydney. Low to mid 70 dew points pooled along this boundary. And the moist axis extended right along the boundary right through McCook up toward Cheyenne, Wyoming. The dew point at McCook, Nebraska went up about 6 to 9 degrees during the late morning into the early afternoon, with a backed wind providing excellent vertical wind shear for supercell thunderstorm development to come off the high plains. Marty Feely was a person who observed a very large tornadic supercell, very picturesque, he said, that came off the high plains and followed this outflow boundary. The storms, however, that I played initially developed in east central Nebraska and began back-building back down towards Grand Island. They were multi-cell for the first few hours. However, the tail-end Charlie storm just north of Grand Island went supercell a couple hours before dark. I began this day chasing way up in Des Moines, Iowa, in my home. I made it down to Lincoln, Nebraska, and from there went down to the Hastings, Nebraska island. Hastings is right about there. From that vantage point, I observed the storm's back building, and after looking at their 88D data, decided that the storm, tail-end Charlie storm, had potential to turn supercell. It was the latest in the back building series. So I left north out of Hastings, and 30 minutes later arrived in Grand Island. There I observed a apparently non-rotating wall cloud just to the north of Grand Island. I parked my vehicle north of Grand Island, and over time the entire supercell attained better storm relative motion, better rotation, and finally about, I believe it was 45 minutes to an hour after I first got on the storm, and after watching intense rotation for a number of minutes, it finally produced a brief tornado just to my northwest. As you can see, the cap was also evident at the surface, as well as 700 millibars, which I'm not showing that the cap increased as one went further west, and particularly southwest into southwest Kansas. This is implying strong warm air advection right up into the south central Nebraska area. Hill City had a temperature of 93, dew point 63, and a moderately strong south-southwest wind at 20, once again implying strong upward vertical motion with the Theta Ridge right up into south central Nebraska. This was actually one of my easiest chase decisions of the day, or any day for that matter. When I was at Hastings, I noticed the towers back building to my northeast through north. I left the office and went due north, and like I said, I arrived at Grand Island to see a non-rotating walkout to the north of town. That is where this video will begin. I followed the storm. The road over here was closed, but anyway, I made my way up to north of Grand Island to the road, this little dirt road in here that you can barely see that goes towards Chapman. That town is Chapman right there. I park at about 3 miles to the northeast of the Grand Island Airport, and that's where I observed most of the activity. Later on, as the storm occluded after the tornado, I went to the town of Chapman itself and recorded a great deal of golf ball, sometimes occasionally baseball-sized hail in Chapman itself. That is included on the video. Okay, let's stop at an intersection here. That's what it looks like off to my north. I'm heading east on a dirt road on the north side of Grand Island, looking for a paved option that parallels this. There we go. It's not moving too quick, so I think I can keep up with it. Structure kind of stinks, so I hope I can... Okay, part just north of the road that goes east to Chapman, Nebraska, which also means I'm a few miles northeast of the Grand Island Airport, looking north. Okay, wide angle. Finally set up with my tripod, my good Bogan, fluid head. We'll give it a workout. Yeah, this is good rotation. Got a good supercell, slow moving, and I'm on it. See how many other chasers show up. This thing's got to have channeled inflow from somewhere. Very rapid rotation. Not going to risk getting stuck today if I can at all help it. Okay, I see inflow bands off to the east-southeast. ACUS inflow bands off to the east-southeast. The anvil's quite large now. I'm at the southeast side of a big circular base.
I see sunshine off to my west-northwest and wrapping rain curtains to my northwest. But the latest rotation is occurring right in front of me here, maybe a couple of miles. It's starting to tighten up there. Yeah, that's what we call rapid downdraft. It's almost dead if it had one over there. But the new transfer tornado after this one is going to probably be this one over here. See the rising motion into the base of it there? Let's see if I can get a better view of that. Hope that's showing up on video. Yeah, if it's going to produce, it's going to do it in the next couple of minutes. Yeah. That's sinking air wrapping around the tornado. Could be on the ground now. Zoom over there. I'll take the wide angle off. Focusing back. Yep, there's the tornado. Couple of miles. That's right. Yep. Sure enough. It still could be on the ground back there. The condensation does not, the visible funnel doesn't have to touch the ground. I mean, it's like you can look for dust and debris to spool the ground.
Suppose they got that on the radar.
I don't know. I'm sure they got all sorts of spotters around here now. Let's see. Current time is now 7:55 Central Daylight Time, for the record. RFD is wrapped almost completely around. New wall cloud probably off to the northeast, even though I don't see much rotation in it yet.
city of Chapman is about 1 mile to my east-southeast now. I'm on a gravel road a mile north, half a mile to a mile north of the Chapman Drive. I had west winds for a minute. Now I'm back to calm. There's wind in the trees though. I'm on the southeast edge of the damn thing. The lightning is good now. I might be in trouble with wall of convection about 1.5 miles to my due west or southwest. Wall of water. Damn. Time to go. That was too close. On the southeast side of Chapman, I just saw a large hailstone, golf ball sized hailstone. I could hear the whoosh as it was coming down about 3 feet from my car. Impressive. That was definitely golf ball sized hail. Let me get the time on that. 8:27 Central Daylight Time. I'm on the southwest side of Chapman, Nebraska. Oh. Okay, I got hit by a hailstone there. I'm afraid it's turning HP-ish. Oh, there goes a big one. That was a golf ball again. Yeah, I think Chapman's in for some hail. Sorry, Chapman, you don't need any hail. You need hail like you need crop damage, which is never. But I'm afraid it's going to happen. It's already happening. The hail's getting bigger. I've got to get south. I don't want to get caught in the hail core myself. Oops. Sorry, windshield. That was the top of my car. That left a dent. That was probably golf ball. Large hail in Chapman. Definitely golf ball. I don't want to lose my windshield. Don't want to lose my wind. Oh, there is a good one on the road. Oh, ouch. I got my wide angle on. It's probably screwing things up. Ooh, watch the road, Bobby. Watch the road. I'm going to take my wide angle off. I'm going to take the wide angle. Okay, focusing again. I'm in trouble here. Got to find an overpass. Big hail. Chapman, Nebraska. Going to head east. Hopefully get ahead of this again. Look at the hail. Oop, one just came in the car. Hailstone fell in the car. Oh, it's smaller than dime. Flat stone. Okay. Maybe they've got a 7-Eleven. Oh my goodness, that's a baseball right there. Oh my goodness. Baseball size hail there. Chapman, Nebraska. Got baseballs coming down. Where is my road option? I'm living dangerous here. I'm going to lose my windshield if I'm not careful. Oh my goodness. Chapman's getting hit. There we go. Everyone's under the underpass at 7-Eleven. See if I can get there. Any room for me left, boys and girls? I'm afraid not. I'm afraid I'm screwed. There we go. I know I'm parking under metal, but I'll take it.
I'm not entirely safe. There's plenty of holes in this roof. Shitload of holes in this roof. Not safe. Oh well. I've got no other choice. Okay, I'm parked just north of Concordia, Kansas by maybe a mile or two. Tornadic storm reported by radar to my due east. And very pretty Mamadas. Oh, that is breathtaking. Spectacular fields of Mamadas. This is the same time looking to the southwest, tail end Charlie. Just a little bit later, time's 8:47, same place north of Concordia. Bugs are atrocious. I'm on Interstate 20, mile marker 352. On Interstate 20, mile marker 352 in Texas. Can't get to the stupid storm and talk to Gene. He's nearby. He's going to come by. But anyway, here's some Mamadas at sunset. Pretty nice.